Hello, I want to talk to you today about bias, and in particular, why we should work against bias and how we can work against bias. Bias is something we all have. We all have preferences, we all have prejudices. We can't just put them down and decide to be objective. It doesn't work. We know that. That's been demonstrated through research. So we need to try to understand our own biases and how we can work against those when we're conducting research. Part of that is about acknowledging the biases that we have in the reports that we write. So, for example, if we're working with a particular group of people as participants and we're a member of that group, we would say so that people who read our research can assess it, make a judgment about what impact that might have had on our work. One really important factor for working against bias is to get full information, as much information as you can, within reason of course, about the topic that you're working on. And this means being sure to read work by people we disagree with and to give it a fair hearing, as well as reading work by people we agree with. Otherwise, we're creating an echo chamber of our own bias, and that's not going to be helpful. The more information we have, the less room there is for bias. We don't have to decide to agree with everyone, but we can disagree with people for good reasons, not just for emotional reasons. Emotional reasons are good reasons, but there are more reasons than those. So get full information, and also another good way to work against bias is to use structures to help you work systematically. So maybe checklists or maybe spreadsheets to help you to be thorough and systematic in your research work. I mentioned emotions. Be aware of your emotions. I'm sure we've all had the experience, I know I have, of reading something that just made me so angry I just wanted to throw it out the window. But I needed to take time to calm down and go back and read that again and do what I could to mitigate that emotional response, not to deny it, not to suppress it, but to acknowledge it, work through it and work with it. One thing that can help here is to ask for other people's opinions, other people's perspectives, and give them a fair hearing, have a good listen. And listening to people who think differently from us, whether they agree to some extent, disagree to some extent, or a bit of both, or neither, whatever, doesn't matter. Just someone who thinks differently, listening to that can help you to counteract your own bias. And value skepticism. If all you get is skepticism, that's tiring and not helpful. But a dose of skepticism is often useful, and in particular, if something looks too good to be true, it probably is. And remembering that can be really helpful when you're trying to work against bias. As can remembering who you're accountable to. If you're collecting primary data, then you're accountable to your participants. You're perhaps accountable to your supervisors or your colleagues or your managers. You may be accountable to your family, your community, and possibly to your readers, your audiences for your research as well. It's a lot of different people. What would those people think of your work and the way that you're doing it? Bearing that in mind can help you to work against bias and help to keep you almost like working collaboratively. That's another thing that can help you work against bias. It's not always possible. But even if you can't actually work collaboratively, thinking about the people you're accountable to and what their perspectives might be is a form of collaborative work, if only in your own mind. Talking of mind, mindfulness can be useful here. Staying in the moment can help you to work against bias, just dealing with what you're dealing with at the time. And the last, but by no means the least, tip I have for you in working against bias is to do reflexive practice, to work reflexively, to have time, give yourself time to think through all of these things. Where am I in my research? How do I affect my research? How does my research affect me? Asking yourself these questions regularly, writing down answers, can really help you to understand where your own bias exists and how you can work against it.